My brothers and sisters, welcome to episode number 34 in the book of Deuteronomy. What do holy people eat for breakfast? So, in the book of Deuteronomy, Moses is recalling that God is building a holy people. And today we'll ask, what does sin have to do with the holy people? So, I just want to compare and contrast yesterday when we looked at our Santa bag full of sin and what happens to unholiness in the Old Testament. Well, people die without mercy. Well, what happens to unholiness in the New Testament without Jesus? People die without mercy. Well, what happens to unholiness in the New Testament with Jesus? Well, he dies without mercy. For us, substitutionally, by his wounds we are healed. So the point is that things change when Jesus enters the picture. And it's going to be the same with regarding food distinctives. So we're reading from Deuteronomy chapter 14, and we're hearing about the dietary restrictions of the people of Israel. Chapter 14, I'm going to summarize some of this in chapter 14, 14:2. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for his treasured possession out of all the people who are on the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abomination. These are the animals you may eat, the ox, the sheep, the goat, the ibex. For every animal that parts the hoof and has the hoof cloven in two and chews the cud, among these animals you may eat. Yet you may not eat of these. And he goes on, camels and hares and the pig, because of its parts of the hoof, and the pig, because it parts the hoof but does not chew the cud, is unclean for you. Verse 9, of all that are in the waters you may eat, whatever has fins and scales you may eat. Verse 11, you may eat all clean birds, but these are the ones ye shall not eat: the eagle, the raven, the ostrich, the barn owl, the hoopoe, and the bat. And all the winged insects are unclean for you. They shall not be eaten. All clean winged things you may eat. All right, so here's the point. God is choosing and fashioning a distinctive people. And he says they're a people holy to the Lord, and the Lord has chosen you to be for his treasured possession, which is so beautiful, out of all the peoples on the face of the earth. So here's the fair question, is what did the most special historical group of people on the planet eat for dinner or eat for breakfast? What does his treasured possession have for their bedtime snack? Of these animals you may eat. Fish you can eat. Insects, nope. Eat what is clean for you. Of note, what is unclean for you is okay for the foreigner. He goes on to say that later on. What are the distinctives of this people out of many? So he's got lots of distinctives for the people of Israel: circumcision, miracles, the history, the covenants, his favor, and most importantly, the presence of God. But today he's asking, hey, basically I want you to keep kosher. That is, I want you to separate yourself from unclean foods. Separate yourself from sin is kind of the visual, spiritual picture here. Separate yourself in this visible way and visibly make this distinction. So I think people are supposed to be saying, as they go to breakfast, say, oh, I'm not supposed to be eating the hoopoe. I'm not supposed to be sinning. I'm supposed to be looking like and acting like a special people of God. So the purpose, I think, puts a reminder right before their face that the Israelites were a distinctive people group before you 3 times a day, 3 squares and bedtime snack. Now here's the thing, that's of note: doing these distinctives self-righteously before God does not call for or earn his favor. In fact, it's just the opposite of that. It's his unearned favor in calling them a people of God that calls for these distinctives. So today, who keeps kosher? Well, the answer is, honestly, it's nobody. In fact, the people that try to keep kosher are the most aware that they have not perfectly kept kosher. So who is righteous before God with regards to food? The answer is nobody. And who's righteous before God with regards to sin? The answer is nobody. Hey, all of this points to, I think, we need a Savior. And ultimately, all these things become clean after Jesus comes. So Acts 10 clears this up in the New Testament. Acts 10:9. So Peter goes up to the housetop about the 6th hour to pray. And he became hungry and wanted something to eat. But while they were preparing it, he fell into a trance and saw the heavens opened and something like a great sheet descending, being let down by its four corners upon the earth. And in it were all kinds of animals and reptiles and birds of the air. And there came a voice to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "By no means, Lord, for I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean." And the voice came to him a second time, "What the Lord has made clean, do not call common." This happened 3 times, and the thing that was taken up to heaven at once. So this rocked the world of the early Jews. Peter literally argues with God 3 times. I just love that story about Peter and how many times he argues with God. Are you really sure, God? Are you really sure that I can eat all this non-kosher stuff? So in one fell swoop, the Lord makes peace between himself and mankind on the cross. And he sees no further need to separate people groups, the Jews and the Gentiles. The Jews have done their part to bring into the world a Savior, who then bridges the gap to welcome all people groups to himself. So he grafts in the Gentiles with the Jews. And at that point, nobody has to follow external food laws to be internally clean. So it causes you to ask, I am part of God's special family, not what should I be putting in my mouth. Much more comprehensively, it's like, what should be coming out of my mouth? What should I be putting before my eyes? What should I be watching on the internet? What should I be doing with my Sundays? What should I be doing with my tithing? And if you don't know about that, stick around, because tomorrow we're going to talk about money. So what did God's chosen people eat? There was all kinds of rules to picture holiness and separation from sin and reminders. So what did they eat? It was very restricted. Now today, what does God's people eat? The answer is anything. And what's the difference? It's that Jesus came. Thanks for listening.